I'd like to call to order the Franklin School Committee meeting. This meeting is recorded by Franklin TV and will air on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 29. It's also recorded by Franklin Matters. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As is customary, we will pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, so obviously I have shrunk and shaved my beard, but I've been asked to step up to run the meeting tonight just because Dave is traveling, Dave Callahan, as well as Dave McNeil, our vice chair. So that said, we'll just jump right into it. Routine business, review of agenda. Does the agenda look good to everyone? Yep. Okay. Payment of bills. I did speak to Dave Callahan and Dave McNeil. They have been reviewed, as well as payroll. We do not have any FHS student reps tonight, so we will go right to the superintendent's report.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to just start by saying my niece was just selected to be the school committee rep for her community in Vermont. So I just found that on the drive over, and I'm thinking of her tonight as she's joining. We're in the same ranks these days, so that's exciting. Anyway, I digress. It's August 8th. I just wanted to share a few updates. First, we had our administrative pre-treat that we have every year. It took place on June 23rd, and the administrative team took part. It's the fourth annual pre-treat that we've done, and it happens at the end of the school year. It allows our leaders to come together to review the 24-25 school year and then set priorities for the summer and for the upcoming year. After that, I did give them a little bit of a break in July to just recuperate. We had a very long year, a very productive year, but certainly wanted to give people the time off they deserved. And we came back together as an entire team for our administrative retreat on August 5th through the 7th. And this was held in the upstairs in the training room. And it was a 3-day event, and the leadership team engaged in strategic planning. We did some team building. We welcomed some of our newest administrators and people in different roles. And I'm excited about the plans for the 25-26 school year. We really are building upon the progress we made throughout the year with the plans. Now it's about executing on many of those plans and continuing that work. And we're excited to really open school. The tenor, the tone of the retreat, the optimism and the hard work that went into just continuing to plan. I'm really impressed with our team and the work that they did, and I'm excited in future meetings to share with you some of those plans and the details of what those will look like. Moving on August 5th through the 7th, the high school experience took place for our incoming Franklin High School 9th graders, and it was off to a really, really strong start. Over those 3 days, the students participated in activities designed to achieve 3 primary objectives. Foster connections within the FHS community, to familiarize themselves with the school building. Many are new to the high school. And the third is to establish relationships with their fellow students and make up the freshman class for Franklin High School. So it was heartening to see the students come together, form new bonds, participate enthusiastically in some of the team building exercises. And I'm excited for this class of 2029 to form an exceptional community like many of our other grades. And on behalf of everyone involved, I just want to thank the high school experience staff for their work in putting this on. It's a lot of work. It happens during the summer, but it's a great and worthy experience for kids. Also, similarly, the middle school experience took place, which was the first time we've ever offered this, and it's a result of our reorganization and unifying our middle school. And that took place, it started today, with welcoming our incoming 6th grade students. They were greeted by the middle school experience team, led by, if you look in the crowd right now, you'll see Mrs. Gay. Patty Gay is here. She is one of the leader of the middle school and high school experiences. She's one of them. And The middle school administrators met them in the auditorium. Mr. Williams, the principal, greeted all of the students before they transitioned into a fun-filled day of activities designed to help them, one, get to know each other, and two, get to know the building and the layout of the Franklin Middle School. So the 7th and 8th grade students are scheduled over the next 2 days. A special thanks to that staff as well for just creating a meaningful, memorable transition for our students, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 days as well. 2 more updates. Next is staffing. As of today, we have hired or are in the process of hiring 27 people for the next school year. We currently have 5 teaching vacancies, 10 non-union vacancies, and ESP vacancies remain, and we are actively posting, transferring staff, and hiring for these positions. And I will share the actual ESP vacancy count during our next update. And I shared a document with you earlier today which had more detail into the positions that are open. You could also find those online on SchoolSpring if you're a licensed teacher and you're interested to see what's available. I encourage you to go to the website and you can find those openings there. And as far as school dates, key dates, the new teacher orientation for our new hires will take place August 19th through the 21st. The first day of school for staff will be on August 25th. The first day for all of our 1st grade through 12th grade students will be on September 2nd. Our kindergarten starts the next day on the 3rd. And then finally, our pre-K students at the ECDC will start on the 4th and the 5th respectively. This is posted online. If you go to the website, it's on the main page, but it's also, you can find it under school calendars as well. And in addition, the school principals will be sending out continuous communication as we lead up to those days with more information about school opening, transition, and some of that other detail. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments that you want to?
Yeah, I guess just in terms of staffing, you know, like I see the full list of what we're still looking for as far as vacancies, but how does this compare kind of to what we see typically at this time of year? And do we have applicants that, you know, could be in the process of filling some of these slots?
So I spoke with our director of HR this morning just to double check before the meeting. There are positions that are in the process of recommendation.
Okay.
There's screening that's happened, committees for hiring have been are occurring. So I anticipate by next meeting some of these things will be resolved, but technically as of today they're not filled. So that's why that's in there. As it compares to previous years, I can say 3 or 4 years ago we had many more openings at this time. I see Mr. Charles is laughing, but it's not funny. If you remember, it was a little nerve-wracking. So we're in better shape than we have been in previous years. What I will do, if it's helpful, I can look to see. We used to have a chart that had kind of historically where we were at, and I'll try to see from next meeting if I can maybe include some of what it was like at this date in time in previous years, so you can get a sense of the openings. But this is not bad. And after speaking to my colleagues, and I know our cohort of people who have the same roles, and speaking to them, we're all in the same boat, trying to just fill remaining positions. So that's a good question.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Al? Yep.
So continuing on the staffing topic, so I know that we had the failed override, we had consolidation as a result of the reorganization. Can you elaborate on where are these 27 positions coming from, so folks that may not be close to this?
Sure. They're not newly added positions. These are positions of folks who have either taken a job in a different district, either by moving. We have a few people who moved out of state, some pretty important positions, really strong educators, but have made decisions to either move to the Cape, move to New York. Some have left the field. One is opening up a yoga studio more recently. And then there are other people who've just taken the same job but in different communities, either closer to home. So there's a variety of reasons on why those happen, but those positions that you see posted that are open were positions that were either filled or anticipated as part of the budget process. So there's been no additional positions. And those are outlined, like I said, online for folks that maybe are interested to do a little more research into the positions. You'll see those. So there's a variety of reasons that happens, but ultimately to have 5 remaining openings is, believe it or not, for August 12th. I think if we can get these squared away, I'm hopeful that we can open the year with a full complement of staff for Franklin Public Schools.
Yeah, no, this has been huge. I think back to the time, the number like 57 rings a
It
bell
was.
in my head. And it's just, yes, this is a better position to be in at this point.
Thank you.
Yep, go ahead.
Out of vacancy summary, how many math teachers we have, including this vacancy? Out of,
Math openings?
yes,
Let me just double check. One math opening right now.
how many teachers we have right now
Teaching math?
yeah, for high school?
There's, want to look it up? She'll look up the number, we'll tell you in 1 second.
Well,
Nine.
while you're looking that up, and I don't want to cut you off, you just want to find that out. I just want to, because we didn't have our July meeting, I think it's worth mentioning that our superintendent was accredited as a learning environment planner, which is a really big deal with this redistricting. So I'm really glad we signed you for 6 years, because this is just adding to your resume and your, potential to be recruited. So super happy that you got that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You certainly put in the work.
Thank you.
And then I'll just mention also, on the app, just as the start dates are coming in the calendar, I noticed it's a little tricky to get to the calendar on the app. And that might just be me. But I just feel like I've made a note to mention that to you guys, because like that's just something I look at all the time, just like because of like making plans to travel and stuff. So I know it's like a compatibility thing, like certain things don't transfer exactly as it is on the computer, so
We can take a look at that.
cool,
See
thanks.
if we can adjust it. Do you have that number, Dr. Rose?
So there are 17 math teachers in the math department, but that's inclusive of the business department as well, which is three teachers.
Yeah.
So 14 in the math department.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
so on to guest presentations.
Dan?
Oh, sorry, go ahead,
What's
yep.
it?
And let me know if this should be for a different section. I know last night FinCom had their meeting. I didn't know if we wanted to touch upon, I had some questions about the comments that were there. So I don't know if you want to do it now, or do we do it later?
I'm happy to do that now, or, yeah, I'm happy to answer what I can now.
Okay, so one thing that was mentioned was around unplanned special education expenses.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that? I wasn't too sure.
I can with the amount of detail I can provide, just so that it doesn't get too specific about like certain students and people. But we have had move-ins, enrollment, and with that comes with services that are required for students so that they can access their education. And because of the services required to educate, it requires us to have additional costs associated with those services for enrolled students.
Got it.
Trying to be sensitive to the idea, but basically, yeah, it was unanticipated because we weren't we weren't aware of the need at the time we settled our budget.
And understandable, and I think, the purpose of the district is to educate the students regardless of their ability. So I commend you all for doing what needs to be done to ensure that that student gets the adequate education that they deserve. Do we know, I guess, is there a plan on how we can, account for this extra expense?
Without getting into too much detail, I think, Mrs. Morano and I will continue to have conversations. I know she's already met with her team on just the status of the entire district, all the needs of every kid, and that's been an ongoing thing that happens every day. So just in addition to this, it's just in general, how do we meet students' needs as we enter the school year? I think it's going to come down to, like we always seem to do, and we ask the Student Services Department to do, is to get creative and look to optimize every resource we have and try to come up with creative ways to schedule, to support students, to look at how we can use staff in a variety of ways to meet those needs. But ultimately, that's where we're at this point. And I think we'll also look to, we have, obviously, you mentioned like the moral responsibility, but we also have a legal responsibility to meet those needs as well. So that's up to us to figure out and try to, and challenge us to figure out how we'll do it, so. And that was my comment, was just that there are costs now that weren't even on our radar when we did the budget process that just pop up. And they're not small numbers, you know what I mean? So that's really the challenge. And if I sound cagey just to the audience, it's not about trying to be cagey. I'm trying to provide as much detail as I can. It's just, just out of respect for, like, if I get too detailed, it gets really, I was thinking as putting my parent hat on.
Yep, no, I completely understand. And then the other thing, and I thought I heard, it might have been the town administrator, he had mentioned that the fees for FY26 had gone up. And I was multitasking, so I may have missed it. But I just wanted to make sure my understanding, so as far as fees for this year, I think it was wrestling was the only one that had gone up this year. Everything had remained the same. And then conditioning and busing went down this year. I think we
Correct.
split up conditioning. And then I know we had talked about like a 2.5% escalator previously, but we didn't do that this year.
So I think what he was referring to was historic, like, our fees have gone up. And I took that in context to the history of our fee structure that we've had for many years. That was how I heard, and I was sitting in the back.
Mhm.
I don't think it was about the specific year, but more about how we've had to increase fees because of the lack of funding. And it was tied to, I believe it was around just local contribution and kind of where we've landed. So that's how I took that comment. I certainly can follow up, but I think it was more about our fees have increased in Franklin.
In general.
In general.
Got it.
So, but as you just referenced it, is how we left it in the spring meetings that you were a part of and voted to shore. We haven't changed anything since then.
Okay, perfect. And then the last thing from last night that caught my attention, I know revenue is a big thing, and it's from an education perspective, we're in a different place. We don't just raise revenue like other departments can. But one thing that we had talked about in the past was the potential of using Pond Street for the daycare. So I don't know, don't expect it today, but if we can get some updates on potential revenue opportunities so that we can help kind of make ourselves a little bit more solvent and less dependent on when things happen like this.
Yes, I made a comment last night. It was very brief, and it was in the context of a different question. But I did mention the staff childcare as one of the opportunities that we have. We're working on it. We tabled trying to get that off the ground for obvious reasons with the move, but certainly that'll be on our, it's part of our plan for this upcoming year, that we will continue to provide updates as that starts to get built out. So, yeah, and that is an opportunity for us to look at generating revenue. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And just before we start the presentation, just on your point, because I was at the FinCom meeting last night too, and I did want to just convey to you that I got feedback from quite a few parents that appreciated when you were sort of brought up to the front, because we were talking about this, the town overall has a deficit based on the state's final budget. And there was like an option A and an option B, and you were sort of asked, like, can you endure some of these cuts? And quite a few people from the public and the FinCom were like not into cutting more from the schools, especially like people brought up the police. Their cut, because it's sort of low totem pole, was the resource officers, and that's kind of a double whammy, and by default we kind of lose the therapy dog who kind of comes around. So it's just good for you to know that, like, in those awkward moments when you're asked to concede some more money, and when you're saying this is going to be an impossible thing for me to do after everything, that the parents are appreciating that, kind of, trying to stop the bleed. Okay, thank you.
So moving on to guest presentations, Dr. Rogers will cue up the summer learning review. I'll ask Mrs. Morano and Mrs. Gay to head over to the rostrum, and kick it off once the projector warms up.
Well, thank you, everyone. Patty and I are excited to talk about our summer learning programs that have taken place this school year, in this crazy school year where there was limited space in the district due to all the reorg and the moving, but we made it work, and we're really
almost done.
And we're almost done. Yes, we are almost done. All right, it's time to replace the lamp. There we go. Just in case you were wondering.
Just get
No
the
one online can see that. We're
Okay.
fine.
All right, so we're going to talk about our extended school year program, which is our program for our students with disabilities who require a longer school year due to their data that shows that they regress over breaks in services. And then Patty will talk about our lifelong learning summer programs that took place. So extended school year, as I said, we are legally responsible to provide services, year-round services for students whose data shows that they are not making effective progress when they have a break in service. So we have our extended school year program that ran from July 7th to August 7th. It was a Monday through Thursday program. This year, our program was at 2 sites. Our elementary, we had, well, actually 3 sites. We had our preschool program at ECDC on Oak Street. We had our elementary program, which was on Pond Street. And then we had our middle school, high school program, which was at the Franklin High School this year. It was very exciting. We're happy to report that we had over 248 students that were recommended for the summer program and 161 attended. We had 93 staff members that we hired for our summer program. We're happy to report that at our middle school, high school programs, they were all Franklin Public School employees, which I think was a first for us, which was exciting. It was a summer full of fun, but also academic work. We did programming across the modalities of reading, math, writing, social pragmatics, related services such as speech, OT, physical therapy, as well as all of our students in our specialized programs attended. They had a wonderful time. Our teachers did a phenomenal job of incorporating fun and kind of social activities, but also working on those academic skills. I'd be remiss if I did not thank Jennifer Gravelin, our assistant director of special ed for the secondary level, as well as Andrew Duquette, our assistant director of special ed for the elementary level, as well as Lisa Bassignani in our office, who did the lion's share of work to organize and schedule and hire staff for our ESY program. So some of the activities that took place this summer was a visit to Patriots training camp by our middle school and high school students. They had a great time with Pat the Patriot, as well as the different players. They played on the playgrounds, both at our schools, but they also went to parks around Franklin. They had a visit from the Franklin Panther. Not all students were happy to see the Panther, but most were. Different community trips to the grocery stores, as well as our 18-plus students went to Magnolia Heights to continue to work and do some of their vocational work there. They had cooking, gardening, splash pads. They made graphic novels. There was different themes, and what was great this year is a collaboration across the program. So our different specialized programs came together and did activities together. So kids who don't typically interact with each other were interacting with one another. So it was a great summer. The kids had a great time. We still have the students in the NEC Partner Program this week participating, and they also, today alone, they went outside and had some water play and played on the playground amidst all the moving and shaking that was going on at Pond Street. All right.
Hi, I'm here to talk about the lifelong learning programs that happened this summer. We have Solutions Summer Adventure, the STAR and the Ready Set Kindergarten programs, Summer STEAM, Summer Music, the High School Experience. This year we started the Middle School Experience, which started today with our incoming 6th graders. Tomorrow will be grade 7 and Thursday will be grade 8. Today went really well. It was a really fun atmosphere, and everyone seemed to be having fun and getting used to the building, and connecting with others, making friends, and taking a little bit of that anxiety out from that first day of school. So that was, it was a really good day. We also do college prep classes, we do Common App boot camp, as well as writing a college essay. And our total enrollment, which increased a little bit just yesterday, was 1,281 students that come to our summer programs. So these are some pictures from the summer. We have our summer era up top, some crafts. This is a little bit of a different summer in that we were at Keller. They were also redoing the playground at one point. So we had to improvise and pivot and turn, but they all had a great time. That campus, the Lincoln Street campus, is just beautiful. So we were able to find different fields to play on, and this year we incorporated some foam into our day. Had a couple foam parties. I'd be remiss without adding a photo of the American Girl Doll Club, which happens every summer. It closed out in about 45 seconds this year. And our the bottom picture is part of our summer music, and those are the summer glee students.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for all the work with all the moving, because I'm sure that was.
It was busy.
You had to be creative.
And lots of flexibility. I have to thank our staff as well and our students
Yeah.
for being flexible because they
Thanks.
wanted to go out to the playground. Nope, sorry, they're doing
They were very,
mulching.
yes,
Yeah.
they were really, they were very good, very flexible, and it all worked out really nicely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions you want to ask?
No.
That's good. You okay?
Just a couple of quick ones.
Sure.
Looking at the attendance numbers that we have for these programs, I think it's great to see that we have a lot of students taking advantage of them. Where does this sit from historical norms? Are we up significantly, kind of right around the same levels?
The STAR program is running about the same. What we do is we put out proposals for teachers to teach courses, and that can vary. We started on July 14th this year, so a little bit later than normal. So that could, impact, teachers on vacation and plan things that they have planned out for summer plans. But that was about the same as normal. Music ran a little bit less this year. High school experience ran about 12 less. So it just depends on family plans and what they've got for the summer. And but overall, holding strong.
Awesome.
And same with ESY. I mean, we
Yeah.
have probably the similar numbers that were students that were recommended for ESY, and the attendance, that's typical. It starts busy, and then it kind of goes off, slides off as the summer goes on with vacations and different plans and whatnot, so.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. So you'd mentioned Lincoln Street. So I know previous years, Horace Mann, Oak Street was the place where you'd have most of the programming.
Yeah.
Going forward, will it be Lincoln Street or Washington Street, or do you think you'll go back to Oak Street?
I'm not
facilities?
sure,
Okay.
honestly. I don't see us going to the middle school again, just because of the Ready Set Kindergarten especially. A kindergarten classroom and the way that's set up as a kindergarten room is really important to that program, and establishing routines and having the materials and supplies of a kindergarten classroom in there. So we keep an open mind. We look at the big picture and where things are happening, the summer projects and construction, and then we go from there.
Okay.
We work with
Yeah.
facilities and
Yeah.
see what projects need to happen in different complexes, and then
We've
what
had road
works.
construction. And
Yes, so
And all
what works
different- all
best.
different
It's a
scenarios.
collaborative effort.
And that makes sense, especially with just setting up that kindergarten experience. So
Yeah.
that's definitely key.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was shocked with the American Girl sign up. You said, what, 46 seconds?
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess, I know previous years it's gone quickly as well.
Yeah.
Did we start with more offering this year, or?
We had a lot of different things this year. Yeah, we had our summer era, that was quite popular as well. We don't name names, but it was based on a popular singer right now.
Well, someone who maybe
Really?
dropped an album or seems to
Exactly.
be.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So we had a lot of unique things. We brought back Time to Escape, which is an escape room challenge that ran for all 4 weeks this year, And, yeah, we did the gardening again. But we had some new offerings and some new teachers, but also some of the familiar things too. Yeah.
Great, and always great programming. My boys had gone through the music, high school experience, and then middle school tomorrow, and
Yeah.
I mean, they had a blast, so
Yeah.
we're fortunate that our students can have these opportunities to experience different things and kind of hang out with their peers in the summertime.
Yeah, and the music this year had, I think it was about 37 mentors that volunteered during the program. And that is primarily students who have gone through the program and then come back and want to volunteer. So it really speaks highly of the program that they do. And I'm still amazed every year, after 2 weeks, the performances they come out with after 2 weeks is just spectacular.
Thank you.
I love it. Yeah, no questions. I just am, grateful for your flexibility this summer with all the moving pieces and everything else, and had a few kids come home with some pretty incredible things from kitchen chemistry, so it's always a good one. Thank you.
No questions, but I'm glad to see the enrollments, the awesome turnover. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I make one comment? Just, I say this every year about the college prep and the college essay, and I have a rising senior now. And I will just say, if you are a parent, like I used to say this before, I was in the thick of it, in the fire of like, get your essays done, get moving, get things prepped. If you're a parent who either doesn't want to battle like that, just sign them up and get them into these classes, because they will write that essay, someone else will do it with them, and then you can look at the revision and do all of that work. But I'm just putting it now, I'm like, this is, I just validated, like, I would just say, like, there's real benefit to that. That's one thing. And the second thing, Mrs. Marano, you mentioned it, but I booked a calendar meeting to have a meeting about where we were gonna have all the summer work. Do you remember this? And then I emailed everyone under the sun who needed to be at that meeting. And then Paula comes down and says, we already met. I go, what? So they met, like facilities, everybody under the sun who got the email, no one replied, she just walked out and was like, that meeting already took place, we already booked this, it's all set. I was just like, it was like finding $20 in the dryer. Oh my goodness. All right, so anyway, just kudos to both of you, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Behind every great leader is a great team. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of people working hard this summer, we have our Director of Operations, Colin Boisvert, who has been, has taken the lead on all things facilities management. He's partnered with our facilities department for town and school, Kevin Harm specifically, and he has just worked tirelessly. I've seen him have a day off on the books, and then he's in there with his 2 little kids on the way to Home Depot for his own personal work, just checking on one room to make sure everything happened. And he's just been phenomenal. He won't say this, but he also took over 50 basically images of rooms that were set up and sent them out to teachers this summer so they could get a sense of their stuff in the right room. Now, he can't do that for 475 people, but he went out of his way to just where he could and find it. And this is all staged. And he won't say things like that to give himself credit, but I just wanted to say that we certainly appreciate the work he has done and continues to do. His communication around this and follow through, I think, has been greatly appreciated. So without further ado, Colin, if you could please share your update on where things are at.
Sure. Thank you, Lucas. I feel like I haven't been here in a while, so good to see you all again. Tonight, I'm happy to give a reorganization update on all the things that have been happening this summer. It's been a very busy summer. A lot has happened, and I'm happy to share some of the different things that are going on. So tonight's presentation will focus on what's going on with moving, what's going on with facilities, reorganization projects, and traffic and transportation. So starting with the moving update, this was really fascinating and such a huge project. So the main move started on July 7th and ended on July 19th. It started at the Lincoln Street Elementary Complex and the Franklin Middle School, but also was at Washington Street and Parmenter during those weeks as well. This was really the bulk of the furniture, supplies, all the things moving. The main move consisted of 4 moving trucks and 20 movers, and it was impressive how quickly they could clear a room. I remember seeing them get started, and it was just amazing to see like how things were going out, how things were going in. Everything was super organized, and it was really efficient because of how organized it was. We are currently in the secondary move. So this move was scheduled as to accommodate the summer programs that were occurring at the ECDC, at the Pond Street location for ECDC to move. So we're currently in the second week of that, the week of this move. In addition to these 2 sites, they are also doing some touch-up moves at the other locations that we've found as well. We are really fortunate enough to have them come back again on August 28th and 29th. They'll be at all sites, and this will give opportunity for, after teachers have seen their spaces, if they are missing something, or if there was something that they tagged to move and they found out they don't need it, or if they discovered they needed something, we'll have a Google form for them to fill out once they see their space. We'll be able to have Sterling on site for those 2 days to either collect an item or deliver an item if they need it, to get it ready in time for school. So the items and different things that they processed, first and foremost was furniture, making sure that the proper desk sizes and desks were in the proper locations, making sure teacher supplies made it to their rooms, making sure all the touch views and technology pieces made it where they needed to be, making sure touch views were at the right height for the classroom that they were going to become, and processing any trash and surplus items as well. So after the first 2 weeks, these are a couple pictures from different transformed spaces. So here's a picture at the new Franklin Middle School. This was a former kindergarten classroom that's transformed into a grade 6 classroom. At Lincoln Street, this is a picture of a transformed social studies room into a grade 3 classroom. And at Washington Street, this is a room that is being prepped. It was a former Spanish classroom and is getting ready to be an elementary classroom. So some of the facilities updates that have been occurring this summer simultaneously while this move has been going on. All this information comes from the capital projects and facilities improvements document that we created earlier this year. This is a report out on all the phase 1 at each school that we identified. So here's a list of the completed projects and the projects that are in progress at the Franklin Middle School. Here's a list of the projects that are completed and in progress at the Lincoln Street School. And if you'll notice, as looking through some of these too, the list of completed and in progress is no indication of what is not. Everything on this list is slated to be completed this summer. It's just working around the movers, working around other projects. As of right now, this is where projects were able to be done, and in progress is still going to be tended to. So here are the Washington Street ones for completed and in progress. And lastly, the ECDC school update. So moving on to some of the reorganization projects. The Lincoln Street and Pond Street playground expansion, this is a community preservation funded projects. They're currently in process right now, and they are moving really well. The fences are completed at the Pond Street location, and construction is still going on at Lincoln Street, but is making really good progress. Wall repair and painting is occurring at the Franklin Middle School, Lincoln Street, and Washington Street complexes. The Franklin Middle School phase 1 part of this is complete. They're currently wrapping up at Lincoln Street and will next week begin at Washington Street. Signage is another reorg project that got completed, so all of our signage has been updated to reflect the names of the locations, and they came out great. They all match and look really nice. Franklin Middle School lockers, this is slated to start in late August. The picture up there are current locker pictures there. The new ones will match this color. They're going to be placed on the former Oak Street side and on the wall where the gym side of the facility is. So moving to traffic and transportation, we've had some active projects with DPW revitalizing and improving some of the line paintings at all facilities. The signage is also in process right now for enhancements to how arrival and dismissal will work. Principals are also have completed drafts on arrival and dismissal procedures, and they will be communicating out with their communities very shortly on what you can expect for arrival and dismissal at that facility. As we get started with the school year, we'll be closely monitoring all sites as far as how traffic works, how drop-off is going, how pickup is going, and we'll be gathering information over the first few weeks and continuing on after that to bring to our traffic team and revisit with the beta traffic study. I do want to remind everybody, like we say in every traffic and transportation presentation, that there will be an adjustment period at the beginning of the year. It will improve, but it will be an adjustment period for at least the first few weeks. And it will take time to settle. So looking at transportation, the initial routes have been developed. We are expecting to release routes early next week. We have a meeting scheduled tomorrow to look at where the progress is at. This map picture is this year's mess of a map. And as of August 7th, we have cleared the wait list. So anybody who has been in touch or gotten onto the wait list since then, we're still processing, but as of 8/7, we were able to clear it. And as far as transportation goes, every year there's usually some updates to routes as, again, the year gets started. We do expect the same typical updates to routes as the year begins, so those will be posted on the website and communicated out with families as those occur. Looking at some of the statistics for buses, this is just a small table of the information we had reported out for projections. So this is the number of students at each site, the projection versus as of right now. The only reason why I say as of 8/12 is that every day this could change a little bit. So this is the data as of 8/12, which is actual data at this point. Number of buses at each site, the average number of students per bus, the bus capacity, which is the same number we've been working off of for what our target is for a capacity of a bus, and then the number of buses that are running at 70% or less. So the summary data is we've noticed that there's an increase. There was an increased number of students who registered for Lincoln Street, less for Washington Street. That reflects the bus change and how we had to adjust that. Franklin Middle School also had a slightly higher registration than what we projected. And again, we are still looking at that right now for the number of buses we need for that. But right now, comfortably, we're looking at 14 versus 13 for that, just to accommodate the extra and keep the numbers appropriate. And then Franklin High School's numbers actually appeared a little bit lower at this point than we expected as well. The 11 buses is really kind of the bare minimum we need to kind of cover the town and keep ride times and coverage area appropriate. So looking at the next steps for reorg, the reorg projects, I listed a bunch of them. That work is all going to continue into the summer, and a lot of it will wrap up before the start of the school year. And the things that will bleed into the school year a little bit have been planned, communicated, and will wrap up in a reasonable amount of time into the school year. Looking at wall repair and paint, as I said earlier, they're finishing at Lincoln Street this week, and we're looking to move to Washington Street next week. This is all capital funded for this painting project, so as we use those capital funds for the first round of painting, we'll be looking at creating a a plan to address the other painting needs in the district, such as classrooms and other spaces that we've identified need painting. So we'll be making more of a comprehensive plan on how to maintain and attack that. Lockers, like I said, will start late August and will finish in early September. I think they're expecting about half the lockers will be ready before school starts, and half will be finished within the first week or a week and a half as school starts. So pretty early in the year, everybody will get their locker by that point. Looking at moving, the secondary move is completing this week. The cleanup move is coming the 28th and 29th, which is after the PE days. For the facilities projects, we are working on finishing the Phase 1 projects. And as we're looking at everything right now, all of the Phase 1 target items that we're looking at, that we reported on, are going to be on time for the start of the school year. And then we'll be looking at developing a plan from our Phase 2 that we identified. So looking at, we had created a 3-phase document, so we'll be looking at Phase 2, we'll be looking at making new timelines and learning from, as we get started from the year, learning what we may need that we may not have seen initially, and making a good, solid plan on addressing what facilities improvements or capital projects we'd be looking to pursue next. Libraries is also in the next phase of reorganization. So all the surplus books have been processed. We've moved all the books from the sites that they were starting at to where they're going. So the Sullivan and Remington books that we've identified that are not surplus that we're keeping have been moved to Franklin Middle School. The ones from Oak Street have gone to Lincoln and Washington, and same thing for Parmenter and JFK. So all of those have been moved. So putting books away and starting to recategorize will start next week. And we'll be looking at space reconfiguration this week with Sterling Movers and ensuring that these spaces are set up properly for their functions for this upcoming school year. As far as communication goes, you can expect a transportation communication when routes are posted. Again, we expect routes to be posted sometime early next week, so there could be a communication that goes with that. And then you can also expect a communication regarding arrival and dismissal procedures from principals, and that will go directly to their community that they have. I do want to give a huge thank you to the facilities team and the DPW team. They did an incredible job building custodians, working around Sterling Movers, working around painters. Mike Carter, Dave Gregoire, John Rondo, doing a lot of these Phase 1 projects that we've been talking about. They've been just taking care of these things, and again, working around movers, painters, custodians trying to clean. Steve as well has been extremely helpful with moving and participating in book processing. Special thanks to Kevin, Steve O'Neill, Richard Gaskin, again, all overseeing the facilities and making this as successful as it's been this summer. DPW, Derek Adams has been amazing with helping us get trash processed, and Carlos and Tony for getting line painting and working with us so well to get all the plans for the new arrival and dismissal signage and painting that we've been looking for. And with that, we can take questions.
Okay. Well, thanks. That was great. You always give us a ton of detail as far as like what's been happening, what's projected to happen. It's really detailed, so thanks for that. I'll start with the team. You guys want to go down? Anyone have?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Colin, my main question is focused on the ride times. I know we've had a lot of discussions around that, and that was the only thing that I didn't see up. And it's probably because it's projected, you're going to have to actually run through it. But do we have any estimates as to kind of what the maximum might be?
I don't have an exact max time. Like I said, we're still fine-tuning a few of the stop details and a few of the routes going. What I can say is we don't see any surprises. So if you look back at the March presentation, I wouldn't expect to see any ride times that exceed what we projected.
Okay. Thank you.
Which were consistent with current ride times at the max.
Correct.
And some are shorter just based on their route.
Correct.
Okay.
That's it?
Okay.
Al?
So thank you for the presentation. You covered all the questions I would have asked, so definitely thorough and detailed. The only thing I have that's not tied to the presentation is I know in the past, as a school committee, we've done school visits. Is this something we can try to get before school starts?
We can certainly look to schedule, we actually have a policy on that, when we post the visit, if you're all gonna be together, just to avoid a quorum. So what we can do is, we can look to schedule time. If you would like to do that together collectively, that'd be the most efficient way. We could maybe even use our activity van to rip around to the different spots, but certainly we can schedule time to do that. And I think it would have to be, I'd prefer it to be closer to all the moves, so, and then with the idea and understanding that if teachers have it unpacked and whatnot, it's less about the classrooms, it's just more about the general state of the grounds and the hallways and the kind of the organization, and if that's the scope, I think we can look to try to do something. I might recommend, if we wait until school kicks off and we did a tour like a weekend, you'd actually get to see student life and start to see, we can do that during the day, and we can walk through and have a pretty predictable schedule once the school year kicks off. So I'm happy to, on an individual basis, if you want to reach out, just to get an eye on some of the buildings, I'm happy to do that. But I think as far as a collective group, we can post and do what we need to do to have you guys actually walk through each of the schools, and it might be better once the school year kicks off. So does that work?
Yeah,
Have
no,
both
I
options?
think that's a great recommendation, to do it after the school year starts as a collective group, so that it's more realistic and what's a day in the life.
Yep.
So yeah, so great suggestion.
Okay.
Okay.
Erin?
No questions. I was over at Lincoln Street for a little bit earlier today, and it was, great to see all the work happening. Everyone was like in just such great spirits, and it's great to see all the hard work that's going into making our kiddos have an awesome start to the year. So thank you.
First of all, kudos to the Coleman team and a great job. Greatly appreciate it. And as of today, do you have the bus stop list where it stops, everything like you mentioned, like in the last week of this month we get updates?
You're asking if we have the bus stops kind of set?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. There's a little bit of fine tuning that will occur. We have a meeting tomorrow. But yes, the bus stops, the bus routes, everything is about 99% there.
So when the list is going to come out of that?
When it will be
The
posted?
list, yeah.
Yeah, we plan to release it early next week.
That's all. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's been a lot of work. I live on Oak Street, so I remember when the moving trucks were coming, and I walked my dogs around, and, so kudos to you guys just getting it done. But no, this was thorough, so appreciate it. We're sort of at a need-to-know basis. It looks like it's going smooth. We'll see how it goes when we open up. So hopefully the community will give us some grace. You guys are working hard. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Next is not necessarily a presentation, but in your packet is the 2024 annual report. So just to set some context, every year each department provides information for the annual report. That gets combined by department in one document, one book. Many of you have received it if you're a resident in town, that annual report book. So this is a recount of the 24-25 school year. So sometimes it's confusing, like, wait a minute, I still see a school that we just talked about had been reorged. So just so you know, it's always the year before. So it's 24-25. I appreciate the feedback. Some of the members had reached out with some thoughts around comments. So I put 24-25, for example, next to each school so that it's clear that it represents the school year that we're in. Like, for example, Oak Street, right, will be one. You'll see 24-25. Next year's report will reflect the school year we're about to enter and the way we're organized. Does that make sense as far as just context?
Mhm.
Okay. And then this gets fit into a larger document, and we have very strict rules because I can only imagine the person who has to put that book together has to give very strict rules on 2 columns, don't do anything cute, don't put a little page number because it'll throw off the whole document, so they needed a certain format. So when you see it this way, just know that it's 1/12 of the document. Does that make sense? So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, and take any feedback. And this is due to, I think the due date is August 15th, I believe. So please, if you do see anything, even if you see it tomorrow or you catch it, you can email me, and I'm happy to make recommendations, but I'll take anything that you have now during the meeting. This is pretty routine.
Yeah, does anyone have anything you
Yeah.
want
Yep,
Sure.
just one thing about the date. So, yep, I understood about the year. So it'd be September 2024 through June 2025 is the window we're talking about. One thing I noticed though is when we referenced some dates, they were before that. So for example, Jefferson Elementary attendance, it was for February 2024, which is prior to that window. So, so those are the things that I think we need to look at to see.
Right. I should have said this too. It's the calendar year. It's the January through December to this adding another layer because of how we operate in the fiscal year, different than the annual year. So I can double check that. I will go through all the dates to make sure. But just so you know, that has typically been the process, which is why it gets published usually later. I think it gets published in November. Yeah, later. So we will look at that. I will double check the dates just to be sure, but that's good feedback. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? No? Okay. All right, thank you. So we are on to information matters. I don't believe any subcommittees have met this summer. Am I wrong? No? Okay. So no updates there. Moving on to consent agenda.
Okay. I recommend approval of the minutes from your June 24th, 2025 school committee meeting as detailed. I recommend the acceptance of $167,555.47 from the dissolution of the Franklin Education Foundation for in-house enrichment as detailed.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda and the, do I need to recite that?
The dissolution of the Franklin Educational Foundation.
Right.
Gift.
So, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda and the dissolution of the Franklin Education Foundation gift?
Motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussions or questions?
My main question is actually around the FEF dissolution. Just looking to see if we can, I know there's been some questions about exactly how are these going to be used. I know that historically it provided some information about different ways that it has been used, basically ways outside of our normal operating budget. But it is a very large and generous donation, and I think being able to detail out a little bit more of kind of where we see that going, or a solid commitment to be able to provide that in a short period of time, so that the individuals who have helped contribute to that are fully aware as to what they're able to continue supporting through our educational programs.
Thank you for saying that, Mr. Griffith, because we met about this in different school committee meetings. We had conversations, but I think if we're talking just procedurally, a lot of thought went into this. This has been about a 2-year process of going through a transition. And basically, the FEF was started on a foundation of saying, hey, how can we support schools in a way that doesn't supplant the budget, but helps to support it. So what their mission was to provide funding for innovative ideas in education. And Roberta Trahan, I'm thinking of Pandora Carlucci, have been there have been many people involved. I think I saw Kit Brady on here, I think it was on here earlier. Oh, yes, and I just think there's some legends in town that have been really, really instrumental in keeping this alive and thriving, and at this point have transitioned. But the mission stays the same. We committed to putting on our website an FEF kind of donation idea of what's being awarded and how, and we've committed to stay within the mission that it would be used for innovative ideas, where teachers and educators put forth ideas. And I'm thinking of everything from the Google Lenses, which now might be out of date because of the Oculus and all those things, but that was an early innovative project. There are so many, and a presentation took place for a school committee that we can go back in the archives and link to that website page. But it's not lost on me, the work that has gone in and the vision that it took to get that off the ground, and we are certainly appreciative. So I appreciate you taking a moment to kind of draw that, and then I want to publicly say we're committed to continuing within the spirit of how those funds were to be used, and they were to be used for project-based innovative ideas that's basically support education and teachers in classrooms. So, and we will be transparent about the awards and what was awarded and the accounting and whatnot as part of that process. So I recounted a couple of meetings where we've said these things, but it does warrant, just given the volume and the magnitude. So thank you for taking a moment to acknowledge that. And I want to just publicly say again, thank you to the FEF for all their work. And this took a lot of time and effort and work to get it to where it is, and we'll continue to see it through.
Thank you. Yep, go ahead.
And so to piggyback off of that, so where would these funds be allocated? Like, where are they housed? Can you speak to that?
So we already created a revolving account. So when you look at the monthly financial report that I provide you guys, you have a page just for the revolving funds. So it's under Department 325, so you can see an account of the funds and expenses and everything there.
Okay. And then typically for the revolving accounts, they have like a specific criteria. Has that been defined for this new revolving account?
Yes, so the revolving account description, I'm looking at it right now. It's innovative education programs.
And in the voting documents, when you voted to accept this, we had a pretty healthy discussion about what that meant. And it's ultimately, the money collected for this was for innovative ideas. So it needs to go to the direct benefit of students and in that same theme and mission. And that'll be the charge. And when these funds are used, I think we had also committed to making that public to kind of, hey, this is the project that's being used with these funds so that we can continue to keep the sentiment and honorary piece alive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything? No? No? Okay. Yeah, thanks. And thanks for calling them legends, because like these are the people that like preceded all the school committees, and just really grateful for that. So especially these days. So no more questions. Okay, so seeing no more questions, the vote will come on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. Next, are there any citizens, in person or online, who would like to make a comment on an item not on tonight's agenda that falls within the school committee's purview? Mr. Steve Sherlock.
Good evening, and we've missed you all, but I know you needed your time away. We all did, so that's okay. Thank you. Steve Sherlock, 13 Magnolia Drive. Just a quick public service announcement. Drawing back on kind of the high school sports days, but people want to know who we are, so we tell them. We are Franklin Mass News, the mighty multimedia community news delivery service. So Franklin Mass News, for the clarification, is the umbrella for 3 of Franklin's trusted sources of timely and accurate information delivered without ads. So Franklin TV, the main one, broadcasting the meeting tonight, as they do on a regular basis, across 3 PEG channels, PEG as in public, education, and government, as well as 3 YouTube channels, public, education, and government. Franklin Public Radio, yes, we do have a radio station. Broadcast anywhere, anytime on the internet at WFPR.FM and in the local Franklin, Mass. FM radio dial 102.9. Many of the locally produced radio shows are also available as a podcast on various podcast apps. Franklin Matters, the digital news journalist reporting on town meetings, events, and sharing all the goodness produced by TV and radio personnel. We are living up to our charter to amplify the public good. You can find us online at franklin.news. You can try the watch, listen, and read 3-column approach at franklinmattersweekly.org, where we've reinstituted a quick summary of what meetings are coming in the coming week, and it comes out on Sunday. It also looks back at what happened in the prior week. So we're trying to be as responsive as possible to give that timely and accurate news in nice, easy doses, you can certainly subscribe to the daily dose, which gives you everything. But if you really want just the meetings, go to the weekly option. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. All right. I think that's it. So at this point,
Maybe ask, is there anyone else?
oh, yeah, right, because there might be people on Zoom. Anyone else in this chambers or on Zoom? I don't see anyone. No? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so given that you've been here last night, tonight, you'll be here tomorrow night, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, you want to ask something? Go ahead.
We have to go to the order.
Oh, sure, yeah, okay. I don't want to skip that. Good of the order. Does anyone want to contribute?
I just want to a big shout out for a donor and a parent, Vincent Brown, for his generous donation of his PTO to our elementary school. I greatly appreciate it. So,
Thanks.
Okay, I do have something. In light of the second failed override, I think we need to make sure folks are aware of budgets and situations and whatnot. I know we have our workshop around budgets, and with the upcoming elections and everything, this news committee, I think we need to just have a really reinforce it and kind of continue talking about budgets, because I know there's a lot of questions around Chapter 70. I've heard things that the number has increased. I don't know, I think we need to make sure folks are educated around what's going on, how funding is set up. A lot of the funding around, funds going to charter schools or students that are not going to Franklin Public Education, how does that impact our schools so people really understand how our budget gets established, because there is a lot of moving parts and a lot of nuances that I don't think people were close to, and we're going to be in a budget situation again where we're going to have to figure out where the funds come from. So I think the more people are aware, the better, that they can help advocate and support us and support the students as well. So that's one thing. The other thing, for those that saw the FinCom last night, town administrator had put the comparisons around different towns and the percentage of the school budget in those towns. I think one thing we should be doing is better trying to do an apples to apples comparison. I know our health insurance is bucketed into that where other towns aren't. So I think if we can, when we do comparisons, let's make sure that we're pulling things out so that it is true apples to apples, so people can really say, okay, yep, this is exactly what's happening here. Your budget may be, $78 million. This one's, $60 million, but is there different funds being accounted for? I think that will help tell a true picture, so people are saying, oh, well, we're not higher, we're actually lower, I think that's the big thing. I think if we can focus on budget this year more than previous years, the better, unfortunately.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I know, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
Sure.
an important thing this year.
Yeah. Actually, since you did mention that, and Ken Ajuku was in the audience earlier and left, but he was on the FinCom last night, and he specifically brought up that point, because we did have a sheet, and so when schools are talking about their operations budget, that's what we are highly focused on. That's what we are able to do the work with, or you're able to do the work with. So what sometimes also gets accounted in that percentage, especially, as we compare it to other towns, are the costs associated with schools that are managed and overseen by the municipal side of the governance, government. So, and that number is roughly 7 million or so. Whether it's taking care of the fields, utility costs, and things like that. The school payouts, tuitions to the charter schools and the Norfolk Aggie Tri-County, those are not part of the school reporting Chapter 70 that we report each year on September 30th, actually. So last year's sort of municipal costs that went to the school will be reported this year on September 30th. And that's just doing business as the schools. But we get a lot of questions around, oversight of that and whatnot. So I think the budget subcommittee and then ultimately the school committee can just continue to educate, because I do think people are getting more educated around it. I certainly am. So by default, everyone's got to be. But we are not making any cuts. So even though our funding went up in a certain area, overall the town funding went down. But we had some advocates really push last night to not have any more cuts to the schools. So we're fortunate there. Be more fortunate if we had a little bit of a bump to our operating budget, which I think was the intent of the legislation. But ultimately, Franklin's in a real tough spot, period. So it is what it is. I do expect we will need another override in the very near future. But I don't really want to go on record predicting when or how that's going to occur. So yeah, thanks for engaging, and I hope people continue to stay engaged around that. Anyone else want to add anything before we close out? Yeah, okay. All right, so that's
New
it.
business.
Yeah, I'm sorry, new business. Yes, go ahead.
So for new business, you can expect, as we do every year, handbook approvals. So we will prepare those, share those ahead of time with you, and any substantive changes we'll speak to in more detail. We also have, we'll have another hiring update for you on the new hires and give you a sense, and I'll go back in time and try to look at some comparables to give you a sense of where we were in previous years around this time. And also, there'll be some approvals, things that have occurred over the summer, clubs and activities, things like that, that we anticipate will come up that we need procedurally to kick the year off. So those will be the main things that we focused on. And then we move into September, which is like schools opening. We'll do our school improvement and district improvement plans and get those out. So that's what you can expect as we move forward.
Okay. While you're drinking from a fire hose, I assume, September rolling around. Yeah.
Can I ask for one thing? I don't want people to forget last year with the bus situation and how we are nowhere near that. So thank you, Jonna and team and everybody that's been part of that. Colin, yeah, exactly.
Mainly Colin.
You all have been huge, and I think this just shows growth and just improvement. And it's, yes, people can make mistakes and things can happen, but where it doesn't happen again, it's better. You've learned from it. That's really the importance of it. And I think that is the what we also want to show in the Portrait of the Graduate, right? So it's how you recover from things, and we know that things are going to have bumps around the road. But do we recover? And you always have shown that you have recovered. Superintendent Jakir, your whole staff and the educators in the school have recovered from all the things that have thrown at them. COVID, funding cuts, they're still here, they're still doing well, and the kids are still growing, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And Colin did a ton of work to revamp that entire system. And we committed, I think, at this time last year that we would learn from this, debrief, do better. And I think we have, and hopefully that builds public trust. And when we have things like that and we own it, and then we say we'll do better and we follow through it. It's like when I tell my kids, if you follow that progression and you actually change, that's how you build some trust. So hopefully that's the experience people have. People may not love every decision we make, but ultimately this was definitely smoother. So thank you, Colin, and thank you, team.
All right. Thanks. Everyone good? Yeah? All right. Then I'll try this for a third time. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.